What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Important's movie review of Come Play, the newest film from director Jacob Chase. Before we begin, hey, if you like my channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Important, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like any of these videos, awesome, hit that like button and comment below on any video to watch, including this one. So the story of Come Play is the story of a young kid named Oliver who is autistic and can't speak in this movie. I found that kind of interesting. It's a really interesting idea to have a kid, in that situation. And he's misunderstood from school. He's picked on, it's a similar trope that I don't really care for in these types of movies. But he has an app with the help from his parents, who are played by, of course, Gillian Jacobs and John Gallagher Jr. And the app gives him the ability to basically type on his, press buttons on his phone to basically speak words to kind of give his thoughts and feelings and so on and so forth, instead of having to speak in real life. And in the process of everything that's going on, he's also downloaded this book, or this childhood horror story called Misunderstood Monsters, which tells the story of a character named Larry, who's this weird, disfigured looking creature. And because this is a horror film, the character of Larry, of course, is an evil entity, and he uses the book or the app to kind of force himself into this world that Oliver and his family are living in. But it does it really kind of like in an interesting way, where it uses the camera for Oliver and the parents to kind of see where this monster's at. Otherwise, you can't see it. It's just, he's kind of stuck in this, world of the book and whatnot. And it also gives us an interesting POV where we don't see the creature itself, but we see the creature kind of looking up through the kind of iPad glass or the cell phone glass. So it kind of gives us a perspective of him looking at the family. And it's a very interesting premise because, it's what I call peak 2020 when it comes to horror films, because it deals with technology. It deals with our kind of reliance on the cell phones and computers and whatnot. And it brings it into kind of a modern light, this type of horror film, which, has been done several times before with these creatures that you can't see until certain situations happen, like lights go out and so on and so forth. So similarly to Lights Out, the David F. Sandberg movie, this movie was a short that was actually created by Jacob Chase. And it was probably on YouTube or one of those streaming services, and it gained a lot of traction through Focus Features or the producers that end up producing this movie. And here we are, they turned it into a full-length feature film. So the idea, like I said, of technology being used in this way is a really promising idea. It's a really fascinating idea. But the question remains, does it work in the aspects of being a good horror film? And I will definitely say that this movie was entertaining. It's not the worst horror film I've ever seen in my entire life. It's not Slender Man, but it still has problematic problems in the movie. It really takes a short format and just kind of extends it out to a point where it just becomes kind of boring. There are points in this movie where the same plot is treaded over and over and over. The creature does the same thing over and over and over, and it becomes a little stale after a while. But there are enough kind of interesting ideas, and the fact that Oliver has this disability of being autistic and can't speak makes it for a much more interesting idea of a movie. It just doesn't feel like it lands all the time with its plotting and its storyline. Gillian Jacobs is in this movie, who I like as an actress, but she is over the top, and she is just that typical mother, and she is just not very good in the movie. It's the same thing with John Gallagher Jr. They're just kind of overplayed and overwrought, and they feel like wasted characters and wasted character developments, because the idea that they're not believing Oliver at first, and then the kind of things happen and they have to start believing him and they go through the motions. It's not a great situation. It's not really a great movie, I guess you could say, in that aspect. But I do like the creature work. I like the creature animation. I like the idea of using kind of an app, a book of some sort. And then we kind of see the creature start fully realizing itself and kind of using the world around it to kind of manifest itself, is really kind of an interesting take on a horror film. We have, like I said, seen it a million times before, but it really feels like it's a really interesting idea. It's just not 100% completed. I think the idea of Larry and the misunderstood monsters and what Oliver is having to go through really is kind of intriguing in a lot of aspects. I think it does work in a lot of aspects in that situation. It's just hampered by a lot of the similar tropes and storylines, stuff like that you've seen a billion times before. So with that said, there's not really much else to talk about. It's a very kind of typical horror film that has some interesting ideas, but is not well realized in a lot of aspects. And I think that's just because, the idea of the story was fleshed out to a point where it was a little too much, I guess you could say. But that's it. That'll be my take on Come Play. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this particular type of genre, this type of horror film. Are you looking forward to seeing this film? Do you have any interest in seeing this film? All that good stuff. But otherwise, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit the like button, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.